Very wonderful morning to you, in Nairobi, Mike. It is unusually chilly this morning here in Kisumu, and I believe this tells you the event for the day. We are having actually the KIPPRA, that is the Kenya Institute and Analysis, is having its seventh actually regional conference here in the Lakeside City or County of Kisumu. This is an event that is starting today, and it's expected to run all through to 28th of this month. That will be on Friday. That is the up. And with me on set, I believe you can see we are having the executive director of KIPPRA, that is Dr. Ngugi. Exactly what regarding this conference, what does it really entail? What is expected out of it in the fullness of time? And this is the seventh one. The previous conferences, how have they informed the mandate for which KIPPRA is actually expected to do? And just to thank you first of all, thank you for making time to speak with KBC this morning regarding this auspicious event that is taking place since beginning now. And starting us off, maybe you just want to tell us, before we get to the conference itself, KIPPRA, what does it really, what is its key mandate for the...
Good morning. Thanks very much for hosting me this morning in the county of Kisumu. This is Ngugi. I'm the Executive Director, Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis, KIPPRA. I'll start with I can give you just a brief about our institution. We are a tank.
Sure.
We are established by an act of parliament. We were established in 1999, years old, and we are under the State Department for Economic Planning, which means that our ministry Treasury and Economic Planning. The mandate of the Institute is spelled out in the... And one of the key things that we are meant, or the overall that we are meant to do, is to build capacities that would support in undertaking research and analysis, would support in advising the government on the development agenda. So the key functions, I can summarize them into three. One of them is capacity building, and in capacity building we focus our attention on the public policy making process. And we have three programs that we run. One of them is what we call the Young Professionals Program, where we bring in who are 35 and below years, and they spend one whole year at the institute, some courses as well as undertaking research. In addition, we have a mentorship program for tertiary institutions. This is both the universities, and right now we've also started visiting TVETs. And the whole idea is to bring back that connection between the academia and the policymakers, letting the government agenda, and also how to actually effectively participate in the process. And then letting also the students get an idea of do good public participation, because they all come from different counties, and we know that by the Constitution they are supposed to play a major role. And then the second element is research. So we undertake research that is defined by current government development agenda. Like now, we have a major focus on the bottom-up economic transformation. And with this, we are able to tackle almost everything in the government, whether it is in health or in macroeconomics. All that we do at the Institute. And then the third element, engagement and networking. And with this, we have provide platforms for stakeholders to share their views, emerging development issues, and that is actually what has brought us to Kisumu, because in the Act we are expected to organize conferences, and these conferences are not necessarily nature, but they are policy in nature, in the sense that we bring stakeholders from private sector, government, youth, and we let them have. And with this conversation, for example, when you have the government, they are able to respond to the issues that the non bringing up, yeah. And we also have other networks. For example, we work, and it's for that reason that we were able to approach the county government of Kisumu to allow us to hold a conference here. Yes.
Speaking of allowing stakeholders also to rope into the policies that shape the country's development agenda, and we understand this is the 7th conference that is, and the last one actually happened in the coastal region, and this one is happening in the Lakeside region. What is the key objective of the 7th annual conference that is being held in?
Yeah, you are very right that this is the 7th conference, and we had the last one in. So each year we come up with a theme. That theme may be informed by the emerging policy issue. It could also be prioritized by what we see as the core development path that the government is taking. So if you look at the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, it talks about having value chains. Means that you start from agriculture, primary products, and you can add them. Look at the value chain whereby you are not only talking about producing at the farm level. Can you add value through manufacturing, and can you also export or sell your products? And that to capture the 3 key sectors, that is agriculture, industry, and services, because these are the key major sectors. We therefore are focusing ourselves on industrialization. And the reason why focus on industrialization is because in a transformation agenda of a country, the expectation is that you are not only doing a primary production, but you are also able to at the same time when you think about the employment, you know very well that with the rural population, even in Kenya, come from, you cannot sustain a good life for them. So it means that you have to see how to offload them to another sector. And the only way you can offload them to actually seeing that industrialization is going on. Of course, if you look at our country, you'll find that now the services sector is actually very big. Yeah? It's taking a significant proportion of, but the quality of the services sector is defined by the quality of industry and agriculture. Industrialization is a key focus for us, and we have come to Kisumu because our conferences move regionally. So we tend to move from one county to national level. Yeah? So the REC region is very special in some way. First of all, you notice that all the textile industries, whether you're talking about Rivertex, whether you're talking about Kikomi, they're in this region. If you look at sugar industry, yeah, again the sugar industries, we have quite a number of them in this region, yeah. Talking about processing of tea, the KIPPRA is also in the REC region, in the REC block, yeah. And recently, if you look at what the mining industry has given us as the critical minerals, that really can take this country very far, even in the industrialization, you'll also find that there are quite a number of deposits in the counties in this region. So Kisumu then gets to be the chair of the REC region economic. See that we didn't just choose it. We considered quite a number of factors, and it is actually the place. First of all, to see, for example, how do we revamp even the industries that are already there? How our textile industry, Rivertex is already moving, yeah? But we have also Kikomi.
That is still moribund.
That is moribund, yet one of the better or sector of interest is textile, which means that you look at textile, and if you look at the value chain, then you have to think about the cotton growing actually also is very common in this region, yeah?
Sure.
So if you have then to think about that value chain, it means that we need to have a conversation going on, yeah.
And you've mentioned it, right? The theme of this this conference this year is focusing on industrialization, and as an institute that focuses on public policy, where can you, how can you describe the current state of industrialization in the country?
That's a very and very weighty because there are many things that you'll find as opportunities, so as challenges, yeah. You know, our sector has come from very far since independence. After independence, we can protect our local farms, yeah, through the import substitution strategy. And after some time, then we realized that we may not necessarily be having competitive that are competing at the international level.
Oh, yes.
So then we moved on to say, let's look at export-led kind of industry, which therefore saw the industry open up, yeah, to even having foreign direct investment, having industries that are focused to promote export growth, yeah. But when you look at that path, you'll also notice that the very key do, especially in manufacturing, is agro-processing, which means that we are either doing food processing, food and beverages, yeah? Beverages is such that it's considered as the low technology kind of industrialization, yeah? That, you know, we had the Omo, Cadbury was here, and we would export to Uganda, Tanzania, and the like, yeah? But then they have also locally, which means that as a country, we need then to ask ourselves, how do we up our game to get to medium technology manufacturing and then also to high technology manufacturing? And the national industrialization policy, if you look much as it emphasizes on still the textile, for example, industry and that agro-processing, the vision of the country is actually to move to advanced manufacturing, which means that the country ourselves, for example, having high technology companies like pharmaceuticals, because they're high technology, having a vaccine industry, which means that you can take care of our health. But at the same time, why not have motor the Nyayo car at some point? Of course, it didn't go very far, but maybe it's the time now to still have that control. The more you get to high-level technology, you also find that the multiplier effect is also very, very big. In the sense that if you had a motor vehicle industry, it means that there will be maybe those small enterprises that would do the wipers, who will do maybe small parts, and you can assemble it, and it becomes, and therefore the multiplier effect and the trickle down also becomes very high. So that's one thing. Not at a high technology level, we are still at the low technology, moving to the medium. Yeah? Secondly is a lot of manufacturing firms are MSCs. Over 80% of manufacturing firms are micro. So what is the issue with them? The issue with the MSCs is that one, innovation is very low. They don't do a lot of innovation, whether in production or whether in marketing. Innovation is a bit low. Secondly, we also see there is a relationship between the micro enterprises and the large firms. So the expectation sometimes is that you can to micro and small enterprises if you have like subcontracting, yeah? So you get maybe doing a certain production, and they say this part, we want it to come from a micro enterprise, yeah? Which means technology. But at the moment, you find the relationship is very weak. It's not there. You'll find the micro enterprises with the other micro enterprises, yeah? And so the technology level for MSCs is usually very low. So what does this mean? The kind of labor that therefore you find being engaged is not highly productive, right? Because technology, then it means that your production process is also slow, and therefore the output that you're making is also not as much. Yeah? So setting up the State Department for micro and small enterprises is therefore a strategy to see to it that we are capturing a key factor that would drive industrialization in this country.
We mentioned there is that need, the need for a nexus between the SMEs and of course the established industry. But then when you look at industrialization, of course, you mentioned that Kenya, as we speak, we're still at the basic in terms of manufacturing industrialization. And there is need for us to move from that basic or the low level to the medium and eventually to the advanced one. What do you identify? Because one of your research and actually advise the government on development issues. What do you identify as some of the key constraints that is still making Kenya to lag and not move as faster as we would wish?
Yeah, so we have done, we have at different things. And one of the things we've looked at is what really is happening with MSCs. Why are they not able to grow?
Sure.
What are the challenges? We've realized, you see, when we started at independence, there were some institutions that were put across, like I think there is is it ICDC? And they were meant, first of all, to provide even work sites, the manufacturers to nurture themselves. Secondly, also to provide some financing. And thirdly, actually to do some training. That is a very big mandate. We have grown, the same has not grown at that speed, So you'll find that when we visit the micro and small enterprise, the work sites, in some situations they are there, but they are not equipped to the level that you'd want. Say what we call the common manufacturing like plants. So I don't need to buy, we can have that common one and we can actually get access to it, which means that if I'm doing, say, even a furniture and I want to
make some
to shape it, I don't need to buy something to shape. I can just go there and deal with it. So they said that is not necessarily, is not there. And the equipping of the work site is missing something. Sometimes you're missing, which is very core, So that's one thing. Where do you do your industrialization? And at the moment, the government is actually trying to come up with industrial aggregation parks, So if that happens, it means that you can actually provide those work sites for the MSCs actually to work from. So the second thing that comes up, especially for the aspect of market. I don't know much about Kisumu, but if you go to Nairobi, you want to buy, you know that box, the box of tin right. Box,
Yeah, sure.
That box, when I went to school, is the same way. You'll sometimes pull it up and it will break the handle. If you are not very careful, it will. It has not it has not moved, and it means therefore that improving on the standards of our products, which means that if you're not improving standards, then there is no market, and at the same time, if you are not innovating, so the expectation would be that that box should have been evolved. Innovation has come in. See something pretty nice to carry all along, like anybody else that is seeing. Now you have a box that you can run. Has remained the same.
Still static.
It's still the same thing. So that element of standardization and also innovation is pulling us back. Yeah? And therefore the demand then aspect, yeah, comes in. Yeah? Of course, the other key thing that always comes financing. Of course, if you have to do, say for example, heavy manufacturing, if you have to do mining, it means that you have to put in a significant capital.
Sure.
Right? If you are micro and small enterprises, that you cannot attract very heavy capital, yeah? So, and for that reason, then the technology that you'll start with seems that improve with, yeah? But all is not lost, because we have seen with the fourth industry, there are things that are coming in. You find there are those who are taking up to enhance with the Internet of Things. There are those who are taking robotic in medicine is also coming in. There is also the use of AI, which is helping actually to make things more efficient. Yeah, and I can say that there's quite a lot of work we have, and we have seen the opportunities that are available, whether it is in the tea factories, whether it is in medicine, even it is in electricity sector. So there is for our industries, but we need then to invest even in skills that we want to be in a country where we are mining and the only thing we can be told is that you don't have the skills, yeah,
Sure,
to help in a project. So investing in such skills is crucial.
Yes.
And if you go now to some of the universities, you'll find that they are taking up courses that the skills.
all right.
TVETs are also offering some of the courses that would help improve on the skills. Yeah, okay. The whole idea is get to say we exploit our critical minerals that would help not only industrialization,
Yes.
but also would deal with the carbon prints, yeah?
All right.
Which means that you kill two birds with one stone. We need that technology. We need the to bring them in.
And actually the government, I know, plays a critical role in terms of building the capacity, not just the SMEs, but also even the educational centers, and actually to build the capacity of the youth such that even by the time they leave the school and transition to the job market, they have those skills already. Well, we are continuing this discussion after this short break. We still have a lot to discuss regarding the industrialization in the country, but break, we'll be back with much more regarding this discussion. Let us go for that short break. Well, welcome back, and we still continue with our discussion regarding the 7th regional conference that is happening here in Kisumu. And before we went for that short break, we were talking about the link up between the need for the SMEs, established industries, actually to link up to ensure that there is transfer of skills from the medium level to the low level in a way raise the capacity of the country's industrialization in terms of manufacturing. And before we went that break, we were mentioning something to capacity of, but also such that by the time the students leave school, they have the necessary skills actually as they transfer into the job market. And aside from the main event that is happening, and there is also the youth segment as a component of this conference. How do you link up the two?
Yeah, thank you. So, organizing these conferences, we realized that sometimes the voice of the youth, yeah? When we are discussing, we are all discussing, we don't feel the youth, yeah?
Sure.
So we decided to have a conversation, yeah? So in every conference, we therefore have what we call a youth event, yeah? And in the youth event, we invite youth and give them a theme from which they can discuss and they can see their input, agenda, and they can also bring up issues that are of interest to the policy maker that would help them to participate more effectively. So we've brought youth, first of all, to do capacity building for 2 days. So we've been having youth who are building capacity, about 60 of them, yeah? And the idea is that if you build capacity for the youth, what happens in the policy process, then when they come to the discussions, they will be able to participate more effectively. At the same time, it means that even when they get out of the conference, they'll have earned something extra. So we have that youth event where we have about almost 200 youth who will be discussing matters and their participation in the industrialization process. You realize that youth is actually the future that we depend on, yeah? First of all, in terms of, they bring in new ideas, but secondly, they are the ones who are actually coming from school. It means that if we train them nicely, then they have the skill that. So in the discussions, then they will look at what is their space bringing in, how can they package the innovations that they have, even in the industrial sector, can bring value to them, because there are situations where you have university students, TVET students, but it ends there. It is never commercialized, yeah? Right. So we have brought in some experts who would actually talk to them and help them see options that are there for them to create value in whatever they are trying to innovate. So the youth from different parts of the country, but a significant proportion is coming from the Lake region. Yeah.
And both your mandate, part of it is to advise and inform the government regarding the policies that are touching on development. And as already mentioned, is that the country, the development blueprint for the country is anchored on the bottom-up economic transformation. As KIPPRA at the moment, what are the areas of key focus for you that you're looking into to actually to expand or rather advise the speak?
Yeah, so thank you very much. So at the moment, so when the transformation agenda was put up, we had to reorganize in terms of what exactly is our focus of, say, research, and even in terms of capacity building, yeah? So our focus actually this year has been on various areas, yeah? Looking at forest management.
Sure.
With the President's interest in ensuring that we have 15 billion. We've asked ourselves, how can you actually achieve the same and could have you can plant trees, but if the demand for those trees is outpaces restoring, yeah, it means that you may not have a sustainable future, yeah.
Sure.
We have also focused our attention to ask even say tea that utilize quite a lot of wood, yeah. How can they transition to cleaner energy or alternatives of maybe and therefore harvesting from it so that they don't necessarily reduce, yeah? They allow for sustainable. But secondly is that we have focused on fourth industrial revolution, as I had indicated, yeah? And you'll notice that the fourth industrial revolution is capturing quite a number of whether you go to health, so we have issues to do with the future of utilizing robotics in the medicine world, yeah? So the focus has been the futuristic foresight, yeah? Of what do you, where do you, therefore, how do you prepare yourself now, say for example, to have the additive manufacturing, the 3D AI element, having the robotic, as I've said, and all these things is futuristic, yeah? So that we can say, how do you prepare yourself going forward, yeah? So I would say that better, we have also a focus on employment.
Sure.
Like now, when the focus will be on how do you generate jobs, eh?
Sure.
And the generating you are employing, yeah? But it's also saying how do you create the space, yeah? Where you can also have self-employment, yeah? So at the end of the employment, yeah? Where are the opportunities and how can we get there with these opportunities, yeah? What kind of policy, yeah? Where are the bottlenecks that we need to deal with? And we have also looked at productivity matters. You can have all these things and they may be looking like things are working, yeah? But you may start asking yourself, then are people not getting out of poverty? Why then are people actually not feeling like there is growth?
Yes.
But in some situations it's just because of you go to work day in, day out, but if you look at your output, it's not commensurate to the effort that you're putting, which means that to ask you what is it that is not happening? Is it a skill that is not there? Or is it that the environment, so we are not giving you the tools of work, or is it that you know, you're working in a sector where demand is not there, which means that today I'll make the one table, or I'll still make the one table, but if there was demand for 3 tables, you see, I would increase my productivity.
Exactly.
So we have a great work which will be launching very soon. Productivity issues.
All right.
Yeah.
And even as you plan that to roll out that program, as we gear towards the end of this conversation, how do you expect this kind of conversation, this one that is being held in Kisumu, in the eventual, in the fullness of time, how do you expect them actually to inform the better agenda with the?
Very, very good question. If you come to, and I hope you'll stay on, and if you look at our program, you'll so many things, yeah? We are covering matters from policy to ask ourselves whether there are any policy gaps. We are covering matters to do with the green, because we are telling ourselves, even as we industrialize, we have also to look at our carbon prints. We are also asking ourselves, is there a that can help the planning process, yeah, so that you can effectively plan for the industrial sector. So at the end of the day, but there are many things that we are doing.
Yes.
At the end of the day is we'll come up with a communique, and normally when we do a communique, we look at the issue, the implementers, yeah. So if we find that there's something that needs to go to the Ministry of Agriculture, we'll take it there.
Yes.
If we find that they to State Department of Industry, we'll take it there. So it's a conversation that never ends here.
Sure, exactly.
It moves as as we have further conversation in future with the government,
Yes.
we'll actually utilize the opportunity to ensure that the issue actually also find their way into the policy documents.
Okay, thank you so much. Like you mentioned, it is a conversation that's not ending here. It's a continuous conversation to ensure that development blueprint that is the better for this regime is actualized. And we have been speaking with Dr. Rose Ngugi, who is actually for KIPPRA. She's been speaking with us regarding the 7th annual regional conference that is being held here in Kisumu. And the theme of this conference is actually focusing on industrialization. That is the subject we've been discussing for the last 20 minutes or so. And at this point, I would like to hand you back to the studio in Nairobi. But then there is much more that is coming up next because the conference is yet to start. We're expecting from different sectors, and all the aim is being to open that nexus, open that floor for discussion in terms of public policies that is going to steer the country's development agenda forward. At this point, let me hand you back to the studios in Nairobi, but much more will be coming to you later on. Annual conference by KIPPRA that is underway here in the Lakeside County of Kisumu.